The first idea about season 2 of Euphoria was, how do we get it to feel like a memory?
We took it as a central challenge editorially to capture that ecstatic flow, fantasy and memory, and what would be a character reality.
I'm really excited to have the real heart and soul of Euphoria here today, our editorial team. Episode 207, The Theater and Its Double. It's an episode I'm really proud of, and the work you guys did is just exceptional.
Lights, 4, go.
What we wanted from the very start is to have a deeply collaborative and collective experience.
It's a very creative environment. I think we're given a lot of freedom to take all these pieces and then to play with it.
Come on!
There's a dialogue that's created between us getting you chunks of the episode early and you writing to what you're seeing.
With episode 7 in particular, I would rewrite it, and I'd rewrite it while shooting 40, 50 drafts of it.
It's very unusual for a television show to function this way.
I feel like I've lived most of my life in my imagination, taking the smallest moments and dreaming them up into something bigger.
We always try to approach the show at its emotional core, getting to a place of clarity and communication where the episode makes sense on a more emotional, ecstatic level as opposed to simply logical. Don't let logic get in the way of a good story. Once an audience falls in love with a character, you can take people anywhere.
When I approach a scene, it's always character first. Everything down to what kind of music are they listening to.
We have these very flawed characters that don't make the best decisions. And so our job is to stay in line with their heart and guide them so that every decision they make, whether it's good or bad, we understand where they're coming from.
I can't convince you that your life is important. If I have to choose between losing one daughter or 2, I'm gonna fight to save her.
One of the things that's really interesting is how each episode has its own identity and its own personality and its own style. Even within episodes can be these huge tonal shifts where it's like almost completely different genres from one scene to the next.
The show has such incredible dynamics. We're often oscillating between irony and sincerity. We absolutely have to capture an honesty in certain moments, a naked honesty with certain characters and what they're dealing with.
You guys are a ruthless editorial team, and that's what I love.
As a team, we're not afraid to flex, and that's okay. We're not invisible artists, we're secret weapons.
This is life. Not everyone's life.
But our life!
Wait, is this a fucking play about us?
There's a number of things that I think really benefited the episode that weren't initially in it.
A big focus with 207 was making it feel like Lexi's episode and tracking her emotional state. And once we started putting the episode together, we realized that was something we really needed to hone in on. And we had this phone call between Fez and Lexi from 204 that didn't fit in the episode. And in editorial, we had the idea of like, what if we interweave this phone call in 207?
I still don't understand what the play is actually about, though.
It's about friendship.
Well, that's nice. Everybody's gonna love that.
It opened up a whole realm because that was the emotional through line we needed for the episode.
Yeah, and the other great thing about that phone call is it puts our main characters of that episode together, where we have Lexi with her play and her anxiety, and then also the anticipation of, is Fezco gonna show up? And then we had to build out that tension because we have the fun of the play, but then also what's happening with Fezco and Custer and Faye.
It's also the life and death stakes of Lexi's play, and then the life and death stakes of Fezco's actual life.
Is everything good?
One of the little moments that I loved that I worked on was the cheerleading sequence. This is such an interesting aspect of 207, this sort of interaction where they're watching themselves, but of course it's not actually themselves, it's Lexi's view of them. You feel this emotional connection. They have so much history together.
I feel stupid. What? Everyone feels stupid, who cares?
That scene of Maddie doing Lexi's makeup is one of my favorite scenes in the entire season. It's that moment of realizing that we're all alike.
90% of life is confidence. The thing about confidence is no one knows if it's real or not.
Well, my favorite weird but fun scene to cut from 207 was Mate's nightmare. I had to like go to a kind of a dark place to like try to get in the mind space of Nate and like what his like darkest fears are.
I worked pretty intensely on the holding out for a hero sequence. It was a very challenging scene in the sense of the sheer volume of material, but it was also like a complete joy. The humor, the crazy humor that's in the scene.
The most exciting things about 207 is the montage where Lexi says, I feel like I've lived most of my life in my imagination. Getting that montage right, that's what really unlocked the episode as well. And the first cue was this French New Wave cue. That made the episode feel unique. You know, how do we separate each of these episodes from the other, but make it all still feel cohesive as a series? And 207, it's the first time we hear someone else narrate an episode. Once we found this music cue that felt authentic to Lexi and then put that in the episode, it all blended together in this kind of dreamlike state.
I think before high school, we should think about all the things we don't like about ourselves and then change them. So we can be like different, cooler people.
I think the music of Euphoria has always represented the best qualities inside the characters in some ways. And it completely changed the course of the back part of the series.
The creativity comes a lot, like in playing with the music. So we will build out like a musical passage that is not always, but very often the connective tissue in that scene to scene to scene that you're talking about.
Open the fucking door, Cassie!
You'd encouraged us to just make 7 and 8 one ginormous episode. We actually did that, right? Then somehow, I think you brought up, what about To Be Continued? We were like, So we want to honor the television tradition of a To Be Continued episode. Like, we cut it in and watched it, and we were just overjoyed with how delicious and a cliffhanger-y it was.
And I think 207's actually, it has all of that. It's such a good example of everything we do throughout the season just in this one episode.
We have the intense privilege to work on something that is as beautiful and wild, imaginative, and vivid as this show. Like, you're asking us to be the kind of editors we dream about being.
On this show, the editors and editorial are elevated in a way that I just don't see very often in this industry.
The editorial team that we have on Euphoria is so talented and so gifted at mining the heart and humor and emotion. And to see the work that you guys are doing, it's the biggest gift that I could ever dream of.